Are you guys staying really busy, George?
Extremely,
Oh, yeah.
extremely. Yeah, the busiest we've ever been. But our primary focus is always the purchase, and we're always focusing. But, doing a lot of events, doing some virtual home buyer classes, we're, again, stepping out of the comfort zone.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I know this is normal for you. You're always presenting. So, Courtney, I think we should get started.
Okay, perfect. We can get started.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So, everyone, thank you all for joining us today. We're very lucky and honored. I'm honored to have Kate Dirrane, the regional team lead of National MI. She's a phenomenal presenter. We typically, we get a lot of people that wanted to come into our office to present. And I didn't know Kate, this is a couple of years ago, and she came in and spoke to us about how to market to millennials. And I'm like, okay, I'll go in and listen. And I left with my mouth hanging open because she just really was so well prepared, presented so wonderfully, had great material. So I'm sure this will be an invaluable class for her. And after she's done, I'd like to mention a few things because as a non-techie guy, a lot of us, based on old school methods, and the new norm is learning to use tech and best practices. So Kate, take it away, and we'll at the end we'll have maybe some questions and answers that we have a chat box. I see some questions already, so we can answer those all at the end.
Absolutely. All right. Hello, everyone. Nice to see some of you again after last Thursday with our little social hour. But today we're going to be talking about social media best practices with video specifically. And I know George had mentioned the chat box, but Courtney's actually going to be keeping an eye on that throughout the presentation. So if you have any questions, you can ask them in live time. The format I like to do whenever I'm presenting is keep it informal. Shout out your question or type it in that box. We'll answer it as we go. I really want to make sure that we're talking about what you guys want to learn about. So if I mention something and I don't go too into it, we can back it up and dive a little bit deeper. Any way you guys want to take this, we can go. Because this is to help you and help you build out your video strategy. So to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to talk about, we got our intro, types of content that is out there, the production best practices, and then how to build a distribution strategy for social media. One thing I always say is that social media should be fun, it should be personal and let you be who you are, but you do need some strategy with it. You don't just want to throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. So we are going to get started. So as everyone knows, video has been a huge buzzword and conversation starter for a while now. It's the most engaging way, or the content that gets the most engagement. So if you're not using video right now, you are doing yourself a little bit of a disservice. I know that it can be nerve-wracking, but no better time than the present to kind of push ourselves out of our comfort zone. So why video? The average consumer watches more than an hour and a half of video a day. And right now, we're all locked in our houses. We're not driving, we may not be getting as much exercise. So now this number has skyrocketed. It is going to be way higher than an hour and a half. I don't know about you, but I avoid looking at my iPhone when it tells me my screen usage. It's really depressing. So again, right now is a perfect time to be jumping in and getting on this train. So taking it one step further, about 15% are averaging more than 3 hours on their phone. So again, that number is going to be a lot higher right now. So 72% of people prefer to learn about a company from a video presentation or a quick little snippet. So why is that? It's so much more personal and so much more engaging when you're able to see the person, see their mannerisms, and get to know them that way. So video allows you to feel that human connection even when you're not in front of somebody. So, pardon me, 93% of businesses reported gaining a new customer after posting a video, a promo video, or hosting a live Instagram or Facebook Live chat. So it's a really, really good way to humanize your business and show people who you are and who's behind Cross Country Mortgage. It's George Koutsos. So it's a great way to humanize what you're doing out there. People that are using video have way increased traffic on their sites. Over 50%, a post that is using video has over 50% more engagement than a text or even an infographic. So if you're really trying to get your name out there and build your brand, you'll want to start with video. Again, it's much more connecting. It feels more authentic and personal. So you'll see that up 76% more traffic to people's social media pages when folks are out there using video. So it's scary, but it really works. Okay, so what is it about it? You know, we touched on it a little bit just a second ago. Why is video so important? Again, there's that personal, authentic aspect to it. And think about it, all of these social media websites, you know, you have Instagram, which is a platform that is based solely around beautiful images. We have TikTok that is based around moving beautiful visuals and images. So it's a visual nature, and 80% of users recall a video that they have seen in the past 30 days. You know, think of those commercials that stand out, those quick, catchy jingles. It's the same exact thing when you're using social media. So, and why is that? I said it just a minute ago, quick. We have little goldfish attention spans these days. So you'll want to do some short content, something that's short but memorable. And we'll get into that a little bit later on, the difference between doing that short digestible content, but then also the longer, a little bit more meat and potatoes content. So again, fit those short attention spans. Think little goldfish brains. Video is also a fantastic medium because it's something that people can do on the go. Pardon me. You can sit on the train and you can watch a video and you can learn. You can be walking from one meeting to another on your lunch break. It's a quick, digestible way to get good content, and it doesn't involve as much thought as if you want to sit down and kind of break down a long article. So it's a really quick way to get out good content. And again, it triggers that memory. People will recall it longer than if they're reading through a lot of words and, you know, trying to break through all that content. So it's really, really consumable. So dynamic storytelling platforms, I don't know about any of you guys, and if you have, you can throw it in the chat box, but has anyone started using TikTok? Because I just started a few weeks ago and I'm completely obsessed with it. I love it. I think it's so fun, and it's cool to try and find a new way to share content. You know, the mortgage industry, I'm in mortgage insurance. It's a boring side of the business at times. And so trying to find cool, clever, fun ways to deliver content and keep people engaged, it's been a challenge for me, but it's been really fun. So branching out and trying different platforms right now, it's a perfect time to do it. Courtney, did we have anyone that's been using TikTok?
I don't see anything yet, but I mean, so a lot of people aren't necessarily familiar with TikTok and might not know exactly what it is. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah. So TikTok is, Courtney and I actually chatted about this last week. It's essentially just the reintroduction of Vine, which was a video platform that was a couple years ago, was around. But it's just an app where you can make a 15-second or a 60-second video, and you can splice it together. You can put music over it. And so it's essentially a platform for short viral videos. It's pretty simple to use and it's really fun. And it allows you to be, I would say, goofier than Facebook and Instagram. It's definitely a silly platform where people really let their hair down. So if you haven't used it, I do recommend it. If you can get creative, you will stand out so much. It's so fun. And if anyone has any more questions on TikTok, we can talk about that again. Just again, feel free to ask. So back to why video. It's easy for creating bundles of series of content or ongoing content. I think one of the most effective things on social media is clearly consistency. So if you're doing video, it's a great opportunity for you to say, hey, we're going to do our mortgage minute. And on every single Monday, I can look for George Koutsos in my timeline and know what to expect and know that a video is going to be popping up. So it's an easy way to do that. And it's a great way to build your brand through repetition and consistency.
Kate, just to interject for a second, I think
Yeah.
something that consistency is definitely one of the most important things when it comes to video. And I was recently doing some research and I found that one of the best practices for when it comes to those little, like you said, bundles is set aside, you know, one day a week where you just kind of hammer out a bunch of different ones. So that way you're not sitting there and going, oh, I got to record my mortgage minute on Sunday night so I can send it out first thing Monday. If you batch them together, it tends to, you're just really streamlining the process and being more efficient when it comes to it. So it's not just something where you're like, oh, I got to do this now. It really allows you to plan your day around the content that you're sharing.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that that's a great point because, again, we talked about it at the very beginning. You do need a strategy when it comes to social media. And if you sit down, maybe it's once a month, maybe it's once a week, whatever works for your schedule, and you actually strategize it, it'll be much more succinct and your message will feel linear and it will make sense rather than if you're like, oh, today I'm thinking this, but tomorrow I'm thinking that. So it's a great way.
There's a couple comments that are in the chat. So have a rotation of clothes with you to shoot all the videos at once. So it can be like, if you're female, you can have different necklaces and different jackets. If you're male, just different jackets. Yep, change of clothes or tops and stuff like that. Another cool best practice I saw was also keep a running list of ideas like on your phone, text it to yourself. Or frequently asked questions. If you've been asked the same question 3 times in 1 week, maybe that's a red flag and you're like, well, hey, maybe I should, do some content around that.
Absolutely. Right. And to jump back to that clothing idea, that's a fantastic idea. I think that's really cool. But if the thought of that overwhelms you, I would say if any of you guys follow Barstool or Dave Portnoy, he will film all of his, he'll do a couple pizza reviews in one day. And he's wearing the same thing. So while it's awesome, and if you're creative and you want to show that outlet and have the different outfits, that's a fantastic best practice. But you don't have to overthink it either. It's okay to wear the same thing. If Portnoy can do it and get all those millions of followers, I think you can too.
Yeah, like Steve Jobs. Yeah, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, always wearing the same thing.
There's something to be said about that. So again, just jumping back in. So it's quick to produce and promote. Again, if you can hammer these out in one day, have your strategy session, then you can even download different apps. Hootsuite is a really popular one where you can just do a social media calendar. Maybe you do it once a month and then you don't have to think about your posts. They'll go out automatically. So that's a really easy way to stay in front of people, stay consistent. But again, you're not thinking about it all day, every day. So, all right. So a little bit more into the fun part, types of video content. One thing I say about video or any sort of social media content, the enemy of your platform will be monotony. If it's too businessy, if you're too salesy, you're going to lose that authenticity that you have. So when you're making these videos, again, you'll see right here that it's short form and long form. Everyone always talks about short attention spans, 30 seconds to a minute. That's what I aim to do when I am doing my videos. But there is a forum and there are people that are out there looking for those longer videos too. So I think it is important to have a mix. You don't want to try to fit something into 30 seconds if really it's going to take 3.5 minutes, because that's when you're losing the content itself. So a way that you can kind of use these together, say George had, a question that was really, really detailed and needed a lot of explanation. He could promote that with a little teaser clip saying, you want to learn all about your mortgage options, your this product, your that product. Break it down into a quick video to get that attention, promote the longer session with that, And then when people are showing up to watch that clip, they're excited about it, they know what to expect, and they have set aside that time to watch it. You know, sometimes if you're just scrolling and you see 3.5 minutes, you're like, oh no, I don't have time for 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a way to have the two kind of work together again. So the rise of long form, like I said, everyone is talking about short videos, but there are a lot of long ones out there. I'm in the mortgage industry, so I follow a lot of people on different sides, whether it's closing attorneys, real estate agents, and I'm seeing more and more longer videos start to pop up, and some people are really executing them well. As long as you have good content that people are looking for or interested in, this is a great avenue for you to take. And this, it actually says that with a longer video, you're getting more face time with people. So you're actually creating more of an emotional connection. So it's better for long-term relationship building if you are doing longer videos. So I know that's contrary to what everyone out there is saying with, again, 30 seconds, I hear it all the time, but there is definitely a place for both of them on social media. So reposting, another thing that I think is super important, and this is a little bit of a sidebar, but not just to video, engaging with your audience when you're on any platform. It's so important. You know, we really can't just be sideline players on social media. So even if it's not your original content, you know, maybe George doesn't have time, he's having a record month, he doesn't have time to film videos. Even if he's sharing other informative videos, whether it's an agent that he works with, or again, a closing attorney that has, you know, a really good video on e-closings during COVID-19, even just sharing that, it may not be you, but you are the venue that is bringing that information to your customer. So they are still attributing you with helping them learn. So make sure that you're reposting. If you don't have time to create your own content, make sure you're shouting out, adding, you know, tagging your customers or the people that you're trying to reach, just to broaden that sphere of influence that you're in. Any questions so far, Courtney? No? All right. We will just keep on moving. Okay, so creating your own content. This, I think that if you're gonna be creating content, you gotta let your hair down a little bit. If you're a jokester, be a jokester. You know, inject that sense of humor. The one mistake I see quite a bit on social media as it pertains to video is people sitting behind the desk, prim and proper, they got the suit on, and it's very stiff. If you're not showing your personality, you're not doing yourself any favors. So you can be a little bit more deconstructed. You can be on the go. You can be moving around in your video if you're just shooting it in selfie mode. Anything that's, again, engaging and allowing people to feel like they're getting to know you. So it's be authentic, show that personality. And again, you can do that in a quick Instagram live or a quick story, 30 seconds. But if you are going to do that longer format, that's when I would suggest a little bit more structure. You know, maybe have a little bit more high level camera, or maybe just have it on a selfie stick and just a little bit more formality. All right. So speaking of that, we're going to get into production best practices. One thing that I hear people say all the time is, oh my gosh, am I going to have to get a ring light? Am I going to have to get a professional camera? The answer is yes and no. So it's whatever you want to do. You're building your own brand now. So if your brand is going to be really polished, maybe I would get a more formal setup, have the blank wall, get the tripod for your camera. But if you want to be approachable and on the go, then you can just do it in selfie mode. So right here, you'll see you don't need to hire a production team to make you look good. You don't have to spend a bunch of money just to get out there. But you do want to make sure that the quality is going for the brand and the package that you're trying to show. So just put a little bit of thought into that. When I do my videos, I'm usually standing and I'm always just kind of shooting it in selfie mode. That's the feel that I like. So I don't need a big expensive camera for that. I can just use my iPhone. So just think of, again, the whole package, the brand that you're going for. And yes, very important. People remember bad honestly more than they remember good. So you want to make sure that your sound is there. The most important part, I would say, are lighting and sound. You just want to make sure that, I actually don't have the greatest lighting here right now, so sorry about that. But you want to make sure that you have good lighting and that people can hear what you're saying. That's really, really important.
Yeah, so Kate, I just posted in the comments and I just wanted to mention, so I know that we do have a setup that we have, and I'm curious to see if anybody else here has ordered anything. So I went ahead and posted in the comments, you guys, if you have any recommendations on equipment that you're using, please feel free to share it, beyond your normal phone, ring light and stuff. If you have any go-to solid places, definitely. So we have Don't Laugh. The WeatherTech desk phone holder is awesome to use. It's similar to the car holder, but it is on a great base and is flexible. I love it. It's great during COVID. I put it on there and wrap plastic wrap around the base to keep my phone clean. Awesome. That's great info, Stephanie. And if, like I said, if anybody else has other recommendations, please post them in the comments.
Absolutely. And I do have a list of a few apps and stuff too that I can send over to Courtney and George after that can just help you with editing, help you with the feel and the overall aesthetic. So I can get those over to you guys if you're looking to kind of boost up the editing side of your videos. So again, we'll jump back into this and say, what do you need for a quality video? Again, it depends on what you're going for. It's the vibe and the aesthetic that you're looking to achieve. So if you're going for a Kate vibe, I just need my iPhone. I like the relaxed feel. If you want it to be more structured, you have the basic, and then you have the upgraded version. I will say I don't have one, but I want a ring light very badly just because it makes your skin look amazing. So I may be investing in one of those. But again, you can use iMovie, you can use Splice. There are all these apps out there that allow you to kind of cut and edit your film without having to break the bank, without having to hire a social media manager or an editor or something like that. So again, I'll send over a list of apps that I think are really helpful. But here you go. This is just a good little stepping stone for if you want to get started, you can do the basics. And then if you do want to take it up a notch in that production level. George, do you have any fancy cameras?
Well, I will say this, I just invested, again, not a techie guy, just invested in the ring light, the special microphone. So, I need the backdrop. I'm exploring the virtual backgrounds that some of my team, we do a virtual meeting every day, Microsoft Teams. And it's so funny, a couple of the people on the team they're out in Hawaii, their background, or they're, on the top of a cliff, or, and other various comical backgrounds I won't mention. But so people have fun with it. You can almost be anywhere in the world with these backgrounds, but I'm looking to do a little bit better with that. But as I said, I've invested in the lights, I invested in the microphone, because this could be the new norm. This might be the new norm that we need to adapt to right away.
Absolutely, and it's so important. I know we touched on this on our social hour last week, but right now people are starving for that human connection. We all feel a little isolated. There's anxiety, there's stress to this new normal. So the face-to-face in the video now specifically is more important than ever, because it is allowing you to feel that human connection. I met Mike Everson last week and I still remember his dog, and I feel like I know him even though we just met on FaceTime. So it's cool things like that. It really does help you create that personal relationship. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, George, but when you are thinking about these videos, do you have an idea of how you want your brand to come across? Like, do you want the more structured approach, or have you given that any thought?
Yes, I am labeling it the Mortgage Scoop. So we will be consistently, I'm going to be picking a day, and it'll be coming out the same time, the same date, because consistency is the most important thing if you're trying to create a brand and get known so people know to be looking out for it. So we will be creating the scoop. I've done it not as consistently, but I will be doing that regularly. Courtney's been on my case, but I love it. You know, and again, it's something that we need to step back. We can't just always be working in our business. We have to work on our business. And this right now is very important. We need to try to be thought leaders. As Courtney said, if we're getting repetitive questions, that's something that's pressing. We did a forbearance video recently, and a lot of people are concerned. They don't realize that it's not forgiveness, and people don't realize they're not sure of what the implications are. So very important topics like that. We had a large webinar with Register of Deeds. We had thought leaders that, you know, important things like how are we conducting business these days? We're all leaning on each other, trying to, you know, find information from people in our industry, but you want to try to be that thought leader, and that's what we're aiming to do.
Absolutely. And you just hit so many nails on the head with that, because even if you look at the screen, consistency is in big, bold letters. If you think about it like your favorite TV show, I watch a lot of The Real Housewives. I'm not ashamed to admit it. And when I think of a day of the week, I associate it with what program I'm going to watch that day. So
Right.
that can be your channel. You know, the Mortgage Scoop can be, whether it's Monday or Wednesday or whatever the day is, people will start to associate, oh, I'm on Instagram right now. Oh, the scoop should be coming out today. So again, it kind of, people will start to look for your content and they'll start to expect it. And so it's really cool because it can tie so closely into your brand. So I think that's a really great point. I also love what you were saying about thought leaders. Well, I think I might be jumping ahead a little bit, but I think collaborating with people out there in your industry and out of your industry is a fantastic way to not only keep your content fresh, but cross promote. You know, like if you have a buddy I keep picking on closing attorneys, but a closing attorney, interview them, you know, bring them into the Mortgage Scoop or bring them in and interview them. It will keep your content fresh. It'll bring in new perspectives. And guess what? Now you're reaching that person's audience as well. So sorry to jump ahead a little bit, but this is just about your planning. It's really simple, but so often we sit on these classes and have these conversations and we learn a lot of good info, but we don't carry it out. We don't put a plan into action. So I always recommend pick your platform, pick what you want to start on. If this seems overwhelming to you, and just sit down and make a plan. I use Facebook a lot for my business just because that's what I got started on. And so I have the biggest following there. So when I strategize, I always start at Facebook before I try and spread out. Pardon me. So just make a goal, you know, start saying, I want to do 1 video a week, or I'm going to do 2 videos this month. If you put it down on paper, it becomes a goal. And then as time goes on, you'll realize, oh my gosh, well, I got questions on forbearance, but I also got questions on PMI or FHA products. And you'll realize that the need for your videos is becoming increased. So that's when you can jump up and say, I'm going to do 2 videos a week, or I'm going to do 3. But again, just start with a plan and keep it simple for starters. Also, not to get too confusing, but if you are using Instagram or Facebook, you can kind of do 2 things. You can do the more formal video with the ring light and, you know, you have your iPhone set up, but then you can also just do a story where, again, it's in that selfie mode. It's a little bit more deconstructed. You can use those to kind of play off of one another, just if one takes a little bit more planning. So again, think of it as like the short form and the long form working together. Be mindful of your brand. You know, I think social media is such a cool tool because it allows us to be completely in control of our image. You know, we can be as professional, goofy, silly as we want to be. But with that being said, keep in mind what you are presenting and make sure it's going in line with the image that you're trying to put out there. You know, if you have a Instagram page that's really crisp, clean images of homes and gardens and all these beautiful things, and then randomly you throw in a TikTok of a kid falling down the stairs, your audience is going to be confused. So it should be fun, but make sure that you're looking at it as your brand and the message that you're trying to deliver. Again, right here it says that your audience will come to expect certain type of content from you, and you want to deliver on that content. It doesn't mean that it has to be a one-trick pony, but it should be the same feel to the content. Again, if I'm used to learning about mortgages and then suddenly you're TikToking me, teaching me how to dance to Drake rap battles or videos, I'm going to be confused by that. So stay consistent. The most important word you will hear in terms of millennial buyers, Gen Z, all these younger folks out there is authenticity. And you want to let that shine through in your videos. If anyone, I know a few of you are, but if anyone's my friend on Facebook, I do a lot with my dogs. I have 2 bulldogs that I'm completely obsessed with, and I tend to take a relaxed feel in my videos, and I incorporate my dogs just because that, I think my brand might just be bulldogs at this point. So be authentic, be true to yourself. People are doing business with you because of you, because they like your personality. So don't try to be someone you're not. Very simple advice, but you'd be surprised at how many people try to put on a front that isn't necessarily authentic. So how to find your authentic voice? You really don't want to be salesy. You know, I've talked about this in millennial training seminars before. These younger generations, we are jaded. We are so jaded. We have access to all this bad news instantaneously. And we all entered the market after the crash in 2008. So we're a really skeptical group of people, and we're particularly skeptical about the housing and mortgage industries. So you don't want to sound sales pitchy. You want to be more of an educational resource, making it, you know, kind of a partnership that you're helping them achieve this home ownership dream. And again, be yourself. Tell that joke if you're a jokester.
Yeah, Kate, we do have a great comment from Stephanie again. Stephanie, great job. You're killing it in the comments. I'm loving it. I'm eating it all up. No, it makes you real, you know, the day in the life of a mortgage officer. Show your coffee, show your pet. Don't be afraid to be you. And she's going to be wearing a shirt in her videos that says, life is good. Optimism is the foundation of courage. It's true. I mean, the only way you can really grow is to push yourself out of that comfort zone. And I say this all the time, and people probably get so sick of me saying it, but I love to say that, you know, don't think outside of the box, throw the whole box away. You know, just start fresh, start new, and get going on it, because, you know, you're only going to grow from it.
Absolutely. And Stephanie, those comments were spot on. I think so many people think that if you are a real estate agent and you are on social media, that all you should be talking about is the fact that you're a real estate agent. And it's not really true. You know, you want people to know who you are and what you do. But that's just a fraction of who you are. So the more you can humanize your business, you know, team highlights, like I think Stephanie had mentioned that, a day in the life, maybe even just blooper reels. Like if you're trying to film for a virtual open house and you trip while you're filming, that's funny. Keep that in there. Little things like that are just human and personal are going to be so important for your content. So thanks for those comments, Stephanie. Keep them coming. Okay, so the data-driven approach. I've said this a million times. One size fits all doesn't apply to anyone anymore. It never has really applied to anyone. And it does not apply to social media either. So figure out the audience that you're going for. If you're looking to target Gen Z, you're probably not going to spend all your time on Facebook. So I'll mention it a little bit further down, but know where your audience is, know who you want to reach, and be strategic about that. There's so much great info on the internet about how to target people, what content wins. So a little bit of research goes a long way. Pardon me. All right. How are we doing on time? Okay. So personalization. 72% of consumers will now only engage with marketing messages that are personalized. We talked about this last week, Jordan and Courtney. Right now, specifically during everything that's going on, mass email marketing is not the most effective way to be spending your time. And it's the same with your Facebook advertisements. You know, any type of ads or marketing should be much more targeted right now. They should have that personal feel. I know for a fact that when I see a mass email right now, I am just swiping it into my spam box. So this allows you to feel much more connected with your audience. And again, when somebody feels like you're talking directly to them, they're going to tune in and they're going to listen. So taking a more personalized approach, maybe if you're doing a video and you're interviewing somebody about real estate, maybe you mention one of your real estate agents in the video. You know, when somebody hears their name, they're twice as engaged and suddenly they don't want to stop watching. So cute little ways that you can make it much more personal for people. All right. Tell a compelling story. This is pretty simple. You can draw from your personal experience just to keep things real. You know, draw from experiences with previous customers. If you get permission to share their story about the journey to landing in that home or the journey to get that mortgage and how much work you had to put in to get them ready. Something like that, that's really engaging content because it feels real and it shows people that you're a partner with them. So video is a great way to do that. If your clients are comfortable, I think asking them to do a quick little video after closing or walking into their house for the first time when they own it, stuff like that's really, really compelling and really, really authentic and human. So people love that kind of content. All right. So when we're building our brand with our video, again, you want to sit down and think about what you're hoping to accomplish. Who are you hoping to reach? How do you want to reach them? And what do you want these people to feel once you have reached them? So if you can think about that, that will help you determine the content that you're delivering. So if you want somebody to watch a video and go, oh my gosh, information overload, I just learned so much, you know you're going to stick the educational route. If you want people to see your post or your video and leave thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired, I can own a home too, you know you're going to want to go for a little bit more of the emotional connection, a little bit more of that inspirational content. So sit and think about that before you get started on your strategies, just because that is such an important part of the brand that you're putting out there. All right, I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit because I know we're kind of running low on time. And I will also send this, I think actually Courtney already has this training deck. So there's so much good information here that we're kind of just blowing past right now just for the sake of time, but you will have access to this as well. So Courtney can send this out to you guys. Okay, so building a distribution strategy. Knowing, I said it a moment ago, but knowing where to post to get the maximum exposure and to reach the people that you're wanting to reach is just such an important part of your strategy. So know your different platforms. I'm sure you guys have all been on LinkedIn and seen someone post a picture with their family at the beach and then LinkedIn just explodes and gets so mad saying, this isn't Facebook. So know the language of your platform and be appropriate with what platform you're utilizing. Just to get a feel, if people would drop it in the chat box, what social media platform are you guys using the most right now? And Courtney, if we have any answers, I'd love to hear.
So far, Instagram.
Yeah.
Virginia. Tell me how you should post on LinkedIn. I never have. From Stephanie.
Yeah, so LinkedIn, it's an interesting one. I use it a lot in my side of the business just because I'm more business to business. I think LinkedIn is a fantastic way to build credibility. You know, if you're going for super authentic and super personal on Facebook, but you still want to have the cachet and a little bit more of the professional angle, LinkedIn is a fantastic way to do that. Just because it is much more formal. You're not going to be injecting as much personality. So if you're using LinkedIn, I would suggest sticking with a traditional sort of educational route. Maybe that's where you put market updates. If you work in a specific area, you know, I live in Quincy. So if Quincy is your area of expertise, maybe you do a lot on new restaurants in the area, stuff that's a little bit more education driven will be much more impactful on LinkedIn. But with that being said, if you don't have a tagline filled in on your LinkedIn page, go ahead and do that. It's a great way to kind of grab attention, and LinkedIn will be one of the top searches that comes up when people Google you. So Instagram and TikTok, they don't tie into the Google search engine. So when people Google you, they're going to see your Facebook, they're going to see your business page, and they're going to see your LinkedIn. So I do think it's really important to have that presence. Hopefully that answered your question, Stephanie. If you have any more questions, just shoot them in the box. So Instagram stories, how to use them for our video content. Instagram stories, you want to keep them short, fun, and authentic. So these ones I think would be a little bit more deconstructed. This would be something where, like, say you walked into a house and there's a really eccentric feature. Maybe there's like a living room pool. You can walk in and just go very informal, selfie mode, show the pool, and then have like a cute reaction. It's really casual. It's really approachable, and it allows you to show a lot more of your personality in that than some of the more formalized videos. For this Instagram, you will be reaching millennials and Gen Z. And the cool thing about stories is that you can post as many as you want. You don't have to just limit it to 1 or 2 a day. You can kind of go crazy with it. Unless you're at a concert, then do not post content from that concert. It drives people crazy. So jumping ahead, Instagram TV. This is something that I haven't seen too many people utilizing in our industry, but it's a fantastic resource. I liken it to YouTube. It's basically YouTube, but in Instagram. This is where you would want to do more of that long form content that we discussed. You can go up to an hour on this. It's really cool. It's a little bit more structured, but it can, again, it's that personal approach. Instagram is very informal. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very personal and allows you to kind of have fun with that, unlike LinkedIn. So feel free to take that personal behind the scenes approach when you are using Instagram. Instagram is my favorite social media platform out there. I think it is just fantastic for connecting. And I think it's really easy to curate your image on there. So I think that this is great for real estate agents to be using. Do we have a comment?
Yes.
Okay.
So can you record Instagram live to repurpose it?
Yes. So if you're, especially on your business page, if you are on Facebook or Instagram Live, it will give you the option to save it. And so you can save it and post it on Instagram TV, or you can post it and put it in your story, or you can just embed it and post it as a video, or take it off and put it on Facebook. But yes, you can definitely do that. Do we have another question pop up?
Yep. So where is Instagram TV?
Okay, so it's, hold on one second, I'll see if I can show you on mine. Where is this? Okay. Where are we? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up my business one. All right. Instagram TV.
And Kate, while you're looking for that, so Christiana had a really good point that she thinks it's a good idea to follow a lot of accounts and comment on other accounts' posts consistently because it gets your name out there. You know, I watched another webinar recently on video and effective marketing, and actually Christiana and I watched it together. So a name that you guys, if you all want to look at someone who has really good content that you can kind of model after a little bit, just to kind of get a gauge on her personality, the way she approaches video, and she does do from informal to the most formal possible. So there's a lot of variety there. It's Kelly Zitlow. So I'll put that in the comments.
Awesome. Can you guys see this pulled up on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so if you just go to your Explore page, you'll see there's actually a, right up there, it says IGTV, and if you want to post your own, you click over here and that box in the corner. So if you click that, it pops up and you can start using Instagram TV. And then if you click on the icon that just says IGTV, it will bring you to an Explore page, and you can kind of go through and see the longer form video footage. So it's pretty cool. I'm starting to see more of it used, but again, people are kind of sticking more to the informal on Instagram, I'd say right now. But it's such a good point by Christiana. You know, we talked about sideline players earlier. You don't want to be a sideline player. Comment, engage. If you're out and about and you're at a restaurant hosting a seminar, tag that restaurant. You know, we really want to get outside of our sphere of influence, and we want to reach people in a broader spectrum. So the more that you're tagging and involving other people, the broader reach you have. So that's such a good point. Instagram Live, this is a cool way too. I recommend using Instagram Live if you're kind of trying to hype something up. If it's something where people are going to feel like, oh my gosh, I need to clear my schedule because this week's mortgage scoop is going live and they're talking about forbearance and I need to know about that. So it's a great way to kind of mount anticipation. And this is a cool way to do kind of guest interviews, you know, maybe bring in, again, that closing attorney, or maybe you have a landscaper in your market that you know does phenomenal work. Bring them in and interview them on their business. This is a really fun way to do that. And again, you can save your Instagram Lives, so it's not like they disappear forever once you've done it.
Great.
All right. And we'll talk about Facebook. There's YouTube at the end, which I'm going to skip over today just because we are running out of time. But if anybody has any questions at the end, we can kind of dive into that. But we'll start to wrap it up with Facebook. How many people have utilized Facebook Live, just out of curiosity? Yeah, how was your experience with it, Courtney?
So I love Facebook Live. I've done it, you know, ever since it was available, and I won't forget we had a Thankful Thursday. For those of you who don't know, we have happy hours the second to last Thursday of every month. Now they're virtual. If anyone wants to join, drop a line for our next one. We did a Facebook Live at the Bancroft with George, and we're sitting there, and I kept going up to George. I'm like, it's time for Facebook Live, George. And he's like, yeah, okay. I'd find him again, and I'd be like, George, it's time to do a Facebook Live. He's like, all right, I'll hold on. And he kept disappearing. Finally, I'm like, you're sitting down, we're gonna do it. And we did it, and it went great. You know, I walked around the room and just said hi to everyone. And, you know, some people were caught off guard and kind of, you know, do the deer in the headlights. But I think what people need to recognize is so many people are comfortable talking to audiences and parties and people. It's the same thing. You're just on a camera instead. You're still connecting with an audience. And you need to remember that on the other side of the camera, there are people just like the people you're standing next to socializing with. So, you know, and I think it's nice because it's super authentic. If you flub your words, it makes you all the more human. And it just shows that you're trying and you're putting forth an effort to make that connection. And I think that resonates way more with people than if you do stumble a little bit over your speech.
You know what? That is such a good point. I truly believe that if you're going to just start with video, I think the least pressure way to do it is to utilize the live feature, because like Courtney said, if you fumble over your word, you know, how many times have I fumbled talking to you guys today? It just happens. It's normal. But if you're filming a video, you strive for perfection. You're going to edit, and you're going to try and get it perfect. So again, you lose a little bit of that authenticity. So if you're nervous, I would start with a live. It's human error is much, much more acceptable in the live version.
And it makes it more relatable.
Absolutely.
Yep. So Virginia said she's done Facebook Live a couple times. So yeah, I mean, it's great. So Stephanie, I'm so new to this. I just started using Facebook. It was not until my company started using Facebook to reach us and keep us informed that I saw the real value in Facebook. My fellow agents have been amazing and inspiring. It really is such an amazing tool. It's very versatile. Like you can do so many different things with it. You know, and another thing that's huge right now is like Facebook groups. Like Facebook is advertising Facebook groups because they're really trying to, you know, have people be in an environment digitally where you can foster those kind of connections and relationships.
Absolutely. And Facebook groups are another way to make people feel really connected and really special. One thing I've seen real estate agents start to do is create their own Facebook group and either invite referral partners and past clients or current clients. And it's a great way to, again, have a more intimate feel, but still share good content in a much, much more personal forum. And when you're invited to join something like that, and it's a small group of people, you feel special. So the more special that you can make these people feel, the more engaged they're going to be to your content. So I know I pay much closer attention to the things I see in the agents. I'm in a one for an agent that I know, and I'm much more engaged with her content than some of the other stuff I see, just because it feels like she's sharing it directly with me, even though she's not. Did we see a comment pop up? I finally can figure out how to see the comments, but
yeah. No, it's just she just learned it from email. Thank you. Great point. So I think we can probably move on to the next subject. I know George is going to have some couple comments. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, honestly, we can just kind of go ahead, wrap it up with Facebook. I would just say to wrap up just the idea of the video content, have fun with it. Whether you're interviewing people, maybe you're walking around your neighborhood, get personal, you know, let people see who you are, allow for that human connection. Now more than ever, we want to be close. We want to feel some sort of closeness, and we want to do business with people that we like and people that we respect. So allow yourself to let that guard down. You know, it's not the stark contrast between personal and professional anymore. Those two worlds have become one. So whether you're going really formal and edited or you're doing an informal approach, allow your personality to shine through, because that is the key component to your brand. I know George is going to say some things. If there's anything we didn't touch on that you guys would like me to, I can stay on a few minutes and answer some questions, or I can get you some additional information. But I hope that this was what you were looking for today. I know it's a really broad subject, so I hope that you will push yourselves out of your comfort zone, and I will see all of you guys on Facebook Live.
Yes.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
You did a phenomenal job. I mean, many of the things I was going to say, you've said them. You know, a lot of this is common sense. A lot of us know some of this. Some of us, you know, some great new stuff. Thank you. I have 3 words that I've adopted: Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. So really, I mean, all I can say is this is something that I always dreaded. Like, oh my God, you know, I'm great face-to-face. I love meeting my clients. I love people. But I dreaded that, you know, the camera thing and getting in front of that. And we have to adopt this. We have to jump out. We really should be trying to do client conference calls. So new clients, get in front of them. Listing agents, same thing. We're doing a seminar tomorrow about the new norm in real estate, and it's about Matterports and robots and how do you convince your seller to sell right now when they're terrified, and the buyer, what are you doing? So we need to get in front of them, be a thought leader. Consistency, very important. But really getting the technology down now. Get your foundation, which is your technology. Your foundation you have to have the equipment. You have to have, ideally the Zoom call or some other teleconferencing ability. It's really pretty simple. We're changing and evolving and getting better and better. Thank God for Courtney. She's keeping me on track. But, you know, I am going to be consistent. So I promised her, and I will now be doing that and try to come out with impactful topics every week. But Kate, seriously, thank you. Phenomenal job as always. We'll talk to you again about another impactful topic going forward. I love that how to market to millennials. That was fantastic. But all your topics have been excellent. Thank you for your time. If no other questions, Courtney, if you'd like to wrap it up.
Yeah, so like I had said in the chat, Kate is going to go ahead and send George and I over some information on some video editing apps. So if you guys want that or anything, feel free to email me, or I can email you everything out. So Kate, I also do have the training deck. So if you guys want it as well, I can just kind of kill two birds with one stone and I'll send it out. Thank you for the invite. I'm going to have my kids help me. Hey, you know, it's so funny sometimes when it comes to certain technology, you know, I'm going to type my email address in the chat, everybody. My 7-year-old has to help me, and it makes me feel pretty bad. Like he's been begging me for a TikTok, and I told him not unless he does that viral dance by The Weeknd, the do. That one.
Oh, I love that one.
Right? And it's a riot. So it's very entertaining. But all right. So my email address is Courtney, COURTNEY, period, Taylor, TAYLOR, at myccmortgage.com. So if you guys want any of the information from today's webinar, feel free to give me a shout. Also, we're definitely going to be hosting more webinars with Kate in the future. As you can see, she does have amazing content. So I'll send over the deck, the apps once I have those. And as George mentioned, we do have another webinar tomorrow. If you guys are interested in that, like you said, it's the new norm and the future of real estate. So feel free to shoot me an email. I can get you that information as well. Kate, thank you so much again for your time. You are such a rock star. The content you have is so kick-ass, and I'm so excited about all this video stuff. And everyone, the comment section is full. Everyone has loved this, has eaten it up. So thank you guys for joining us. Today was awesome.
Thank you all for joining us. Take care,
you
everyone.
guys.
Mike, next time I want to see your dogs on camera.
And a bow tie. All right, guys,
everyone.
I'm going to end the meeting. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Bye-bye.